Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell had a few words after this was over. Wallace finished 29th. Bell finished 21st. All right. We're good?
I don't think we're good right here.
No, not that good. Okay. But they'll sort it out.
The race at Watkins Glen ended quietly on the track. But the second the cameras turned to Pittsburgh Road, all heck broke loose. Bubba Wallace climbed out of his car, walked straight up to Christopher Bell, and started letting him have it right there in front of everyone. This wasn't a quick handshake or a friendly chat. This was Bubba waving his hand around, talking fast, and clearly mad about something. The Fox and FS1 cameras caught the whole thing near Victory Lane. Even Kevin Harvick, sitting up in the Fox booth, took one look and said, "I don't think we're good right here." When Harvick says that, you know it's serious. So what actually happened? And why were two Toyota teammates going at it on national TV? This story has a lot more layers than most people are giving it credit for. If you want to see more deep dives that go beyond the surface of NASCAR headlines, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference. To understand the explosion on pit road, we have to rewind. Sunday's race was the Go Bowling at the Glen at Watkins Glen International, held on May 10, 2026. It was a grueling 100 laps around the iconic 2.45-mile road course, and honestly, it wasn't the most exciting race from a competition standpoint. Shane Van Gisbergen, who drives for Trackhouse Racing, just ran away with it. The guy started from the pole on his birthday weekend, a perfect setup for a dominant performance. Then he made a late pit stop and dropped an incredible 29 seconds behind the leaders. You'd think his day was done, right? Nope. He drove all the way back through the field with surgical precision and still won by 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Nobody else stood a chance. Some people are calling Shane the best road course racer NASCAR has ever seen, but others are starting to wonder if him winning every road race is actually good for the sport. Here's the thing. NASCAR's TV numbers are already kind of weak this year, in 2026. And when one guy dominates every single road course while finishing mid-pack everywhere else, the casual fan watching at home gets bored. Until Shane wins on a regular oval track, a lot of fans just aren't going to connect with him. But Shane's win? That wasn't even the story Sunday night. Not even close. The real story was Bubba. Bubba Wallace had a rough day. He drives the number 23 Hardee's and Coca-Cola Toyota for 2311 Racing, and he couldn't find any speed on the road course at all. The whole day he was fighting that car, wrestling it through the turns and struggling to keep pace. He picked up just one stage point. One. Then things got even worse late in the race. With about 15 laps to go, John Hunter Nemechek got into the back of him and spun him out in turn 1. Nemechek was on newer tires and could have waited to make the pass. He didn't, and Wallace suffered for it. Bubba ended up finishing a dismal 29th. He didn't need another dud of a weekend, and that's unfortunately what he got today. Christopher Bell didn't have a great day either. He drives the number 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he spent most of the race stuck in traffic, unable to make significant forward progress. He finished 21st. So both of these guys were already in a bad mood before they ever got near each other. But for Bubba, this frustration has been building all season. This wasn't an isolated bad day. He triggered the big one at Talladega earlier in the year, taking out over 30 cars in a massive Stage 2 wreck that ended the day for a third of the field. Then at Martinsville, he tangled with Carson Hocevar with less than 80 laps to go and set off another huge multi-car crash, leaving him with his second straight DNF. After that incident, even veterans like Kevin Harvick and Kyle Petty called him out for his aggressive moves. Bubba's been finding the spotlight a lot in 2026, whether he wants to or not. Now, let's get to the spark that lit the fuse on pit road. With about 8 laps to go, Bubba was told by his team to come down pit road for service. At that exact moment, he was running just ahead of Bell and Todd Gilliland. Both of them were right on his bumper, drafting him and looking for a way around. As the group ran through the back half of the track and headed toward the front straight, Bell got a big run on Bubba. He used the draft to pull up alongside Bubba's right side just as they came out of the final turn and headed for the pit road entry line. This is where the communication breakdown happened. Bell's spotter told him over the radio, "The 23 is pitting." But the problem was, Bell was already right next to Bubba by that point. The call came a split second too late. Furthermore, some reports say Bubba's own team didn't tell him quickly enough that Bell was coming up on his right side. That little mix-up may have messed up Bubba's positioning right at a really important moment in the race, potentially compromising his entry into the pits. And a lot of people think that's exactly what set Bubba off. To add another layer of drama, this moment had real implications. Heading into the race, Bubba sat 10th in points, with Bell right behind him in 11th. They were separated by just 2 points. This wasn't just a racing moment. There was real points pressure behind it too. So, after the race, while the top finishers were doing their interviews, Bubba Wallace climbed out of his car and went looking for Bell. The FS1 cameras swung over to Pittsburgh Road and caught the whole thing. This wasn't a friendly chat. This was a man with something to say. Bubba was animated, talking with his hands, pleading his case with visible emotion. It was mostly one-sided, too. Bubba did almost all the talking. Bell just stood there, calm as can be in his usual quiet way. He barely reacted at all, absorbing the verbal barrage. Then, something pretty interesting happened. Bubba started to walk away, looking like the conversation was over. But then Bell said something back to him. And whatever it was, it made Bubba turn right around and come back for more. They went at it again for another few moments before finally walking off in different directions. There was no shoving, no fighting, nothing physical, just a lot of intense words. The official NASCAR on Fox Twitter account posted the video with the caption, "A post-race chat for Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell," followed by 2 eyeball emojis. Those eyeball emojis said everything. The internet went crazy. Fans immediately started guessing at what happened. Was it the pit road thing? Was it something else from earlier in the race? Did Bubba get Bell mixed up with Nemechek, the guy who actually spun him out? Nobody knew for sure. That's when Bubba's spotter, Freddie Kraft, stepped in. Freddie is a pretty popular guy in NASCAR. He co-hosts the podcast Door Bumper Clear and is known for telling it like it is. He jumped on social media and shut down the rumors fast. He wrote, "You shouldn't speculate." Bubba wasn't mad at Bell. Pretty clear, right? He stated the frustration came from a bad finish overall, not anger at Christopher Bell. But here's the weird part. Freddie didn't say what the conversation actually was about. He just said it wasn't about Bell, which kind of makes you wonder. So if Bubba was that fired up and it wasn't about Bell, then what was it about? The mystery remains open. This whole thing is a bigger deal than your usual driver argument for one simple reason. Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell aren't from rival teams. They're basically on the same side. 2311 Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing have a team alliance. Both teams run Toyotas. They share information. They help each other out. These aren't rival teams. These guys are supposed to be on the same side. So, when 2 Toyota drivers from allied teams have a public dust-up on national TV, that's not normal. That's a real story. While most NASCAR analysts think this thing is going to blow over pretty fast, it highlights the pressure cooker these drivers are in. Both guys have bigger things to think about than a pit road argument, especially with the All-Star race at Dover Motor Speedway coming up this weekend. This event will mark the first time the 1 Mile Delaware venue has hosted the festivities, and Christopher Bell is the defending All-Star race winner. A few other things happened at Watkins Glen that are worth knowing about too. Cody had a pretty bad-looking wreck during the race, but NASCAR didn't throw a caution for it. Some folks think they just missed it. Others think they saw it was Ware, who crashes a lot, and decided not to stop the race for him. Fox didn't even show the wreck on TV. Down in the Truck Series, Natalie Decker had a tough weekend, too. She struggled with an electrical issue that hurt her in practice, in qualifying, and during the race itself. She ended up finishing 32nd, for laps down by the checkered flag. For a driver trying to make a name for herself, that's a really frustrating way to spend a weekend. And speaking of television, Sunday's All-Star race at Dover is Fox's very last NASCAR broadcast of the year. After that, The next 5 races move over to Amazon Prime. Then TNT and USA Network take over for July and August. And fans are excited to hear Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the call again. But back to the main event. The cameras caught the moment. But the truth is still hiding somewhere in pit lane. Bubba says he wasn't mad at Bell. Bell isn't talking. Freddie Kraft says drop it. And the rest of us are left wondering what those two were really yelling about on pit road. We're a new channel, and we're pouring everything we have into creating content like this that tells the full story. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and your support truly means the world to us. If you found this breakdown valuable and want to see more, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It helps more than you know. So, what do you think happened? Was it the pit road miscommunication? Was Bubba just venting about his whole day, and Bell was the first person he saw? Or is there something we're all missing? Drop your take in the comments below.